guys, welcome to another video in my channel. Thank you so much if you've subscribed and if you commented in my videos. I appreciate every single one of you and I'm so thankful. The family is growing and I'm so grateful that you guys are here. And yeah, let's start with today's video, which is something that I've been really wanting to do, which is putting together a recommendation of books to read during the summer, and more specifically kind of like summertime sadness kind of vibe. I wanted to make a video for people who find a lot of nostalgia during the summer. I've always kind of had like a very difficult relationship with this season because I know that I am the happiest when it's sunny, when I'm near the ocean, when I'm in nature. But when these things are not present, because it could be different things, location, etc., or just the weather being bad, I just feel it feels like the worst time to be alive. It also reminds me of summer breaks from school and then your friends or people that you know kind of going on holiday with their family, and I was kind of stuck in this little town. Yeah, so if somehow you can relate to this feeling, I think you're gonna enjoy these book recommendations. So I've got 7 books for this video, and these are books that have either helped me get through these emotions, have made me feel very seen. And honestly, there's just no better feeling than feeling like you're being seen. It's like a different type of comfort to know that someone a while ago, some books a long time ago, some books just a while ago, someone has felt what you are feeling and that they were able to put it into writing, like exactly how I feel during this season, unless I'm in a tropical island. Able to express it so well as if they could read my brain. So these are all the books that we're going to be looking at today. I'm so excited. Some of them I've already spoken about in my channel, but I'm going to give you a more detailed review in this video. We're going to make a start with one of my favorite authors in general, and that is Sylvia Plath. So I've got 2 books to recommend you. We're going to start with The Bell Jar. This cover is incredible. This edition in general, I don't know if you can tell through the video, but it is old. I'm not sure if this is like a first edition. This actually might be a first edition. This is 1963, so I'm not sure, but it is very old and it feels very delicate. I got this for like 99p. I mean, that is insane. But yeah, enough of the cover. I always ramble about the covers because it's something that I appreciate a lot from books. Sylvia Plath is someone that I always turn to when I want to read something that's going to stick with me for a while. It is a hauntingly beautiful novel that deeply resonates, especially for women that are navigating identity, ambition, and just expectations from society. The novel also has one of my favorite quotes ever, which is the fig tree. Which is, I'll put it in the screen, but the metaphor is one of the most iconic in the novel, and it speaks directly to the pressure of making life-defining choices, especially as a woman expected to balance ambition, relationships, and identity. And it is exactly that ability that Sylvia Plath has of voicing that internal quiet panic, what makes her writing so enduring. So we follow the story of a girl that I think is working for like a fashion journaling company or something, and yeah, just her relationship with what she wants to do with her life and kind of feeling basically empty. So yeah, this trigger warning as well for this book, but it's a really good book. It's a really good novel. I also recently watched the movie about Sylvia Plath, which was a really good movie. And yeah, she wrote this, I think, before passing. So yeah, kind of dark. But the next novel by Sylvia Plath is Ariel. I love this cover so much. I've got the sticker of Paula's Choice Exfoliate. Let's ignore that. But yeah, I love this cover a lot. Ariel is a raw, electrifying collection of poetry that pulses with intensity, vulnerability, and defiance. And I find that her way of writing or language in this collection of poetry, it's both lyrical and brutal. And each poem that I was reading felt like a storm contained in a single breath. There's also like a sense of urgency throughout the poetry, as if almost like she was writing from a cliff. My favorite poem of this collection is Lady Lazarus. I'm gonna find it. I've also kind of, what's it called? Annotated the poetry. I don't know if any of you are interested in poetry books, but I love poetry so much and I love annotating it and kind of finding meaning or hidden meaning. So Lady Lazarus is my favorite. I feel like it's almost like a stunning act of resurrection. It's dark, defiant, strangely triumphant in the end. It's like a performance of pain turned into power. There's this quote that she says, "Dying is an art, like everything else, I do it exceptionally well." Very just, I don't know. Also Lady Lazarus, so Lazarus is a Bible character that was brought back to life. And it just talks about her failed attempt to, taking her life. And then discovers her new self at the last attempt. Really good collection of poetry to kind of get into poetry as well. I thought it was kind of easy to understand. It is Plath's ability to confront death, identity, and the female experience with such fierce clarity. What makes this specific collection of poetry so memorable for me. If you're trying to get into poetry that stares straight into the abyss and speaks back, then Ariel is definitely the way to go. My Brilliant Friend by Elena Ferrante. I have seen the newest editions. I hate them so much. So if you can get your hands in these Europa editions, I mean, this is just so beautiful. I'm gonna insert a picture of what I'm talking about. The editions that I keep seeing in Waterstones in bookstores, horrible. These editions, oh my, just this one, it's just so beautiful. So I'm really trying to get the other books. I've got The Story of a New Name, which I'm currently reading, and I'm filming a vlog for that. But My Brilliant Friend is, I just don't know where to start with this. It is a quietly powerful novel about the tangled relationship of two girls that grow up in a very poor neighborhood in Naples. The emotional intensity that comes with female friendships, with such clarity that at some point I felt that it was almost invasive. I'm not saying that I can fully relate to everything or that I am Lila or Lenou. I'm not saying that, but I can relate to both of them in different ways. With different friendships that I've had, and I've added it to this list because while I'm still reading the novels, I'm in the second book right now, I just feel like there's this sadness that eats me up because I remember certain female friendships that I don't have anymore. And while reading the friendship between these two girls, I just feel very seen. And she's able to capture it just so intensely and so well. And what makes this book or this series in general, specifically this first book, is how she explores the push and pull of love, of envy between friendships, of excessive admiration sometimes between friendships, and also the identity between two women that are trying to find themselves in a world that feels like it's actively defining them. And in a way, I feel like if you've grown apart friendships for whatever reason, it makes me feel this melancholic feeling of sadness, but not because there's a grand tragedy. Like, don't expect something crazy happening or like a crazy unraveling or whatever. It's not that kind of novel, but it feels very sad and melancholic because you're reading about two friends. And there's just this slow beauty of growing up and also growing apart from your friendships and from people that you grew up with and that were around you, just because maybe you're in a different place in your life. So if you feel that you've had a friendship that has shaped who you are, that you no longer have, then this novel is gonna feel like a mirror. It was incredible. The second one of the series, and that is The Story of a New Name. It's much bigger, but I have this much left, so I'm almost done. I have to say, I really enjoyed this more than that one. But that one was such a strong introduction to the series that I would highly, highly recommend it. But yeah, I am filming a YouTube vlog of my month, and also I've included some clips of me reading the book. Next recommendation is, of course, I feel like this is always like a staple in this kind of genre, but that is My Year of Rest and Relaxation by Ottessa Moshfegh. Beautiful cover. So I had to include this book because such a staple. I also love Ottessa Moshfegh. I really like her other books, Aileen and Lapvona. Really good books. But this, I think it fits really well with the aesthetic of today's recommendations. It's a very funny, dark, deeply melancholic novel about a woman that decides to sleep her way out of existence. So it is set in pre-9/11 in New York. It's a story about feeling numb. It's a story about privilege and a very quiet desperation of wanting to simply just disappear. I find that her writing is very like razor sharp. It's very direct, cool, detached, but also disturbingly intimate. What makes this book very interesting is how it captures a modern type of sadness that doesn't come with a major tragedy, but it comes from having everything and feeling nothing. Yes, it's bleak, but it's also strangely cathartic. If you ever felt like you need to like pause in life, then this book is for you. I did see that other people thought that the main character was very unlikable. Honestly, I can see why, obviously. If you've read the book, then you know. But at the same time, I honestly hate when main characters are perfect. I just don't find it interesting. And I found the main character to be just very funny and just, interesting, like not perfect. I like imperfect people, you know? I don't like when, even with shows and movies, I honestly hate when the main character is like perfect and always has to do things right and is always super politically correct. I hate that because that's just not realistic. That's no human being ever. So I find that the main character was very like real. My next book is The Post Office Girl by Stefan Zweig. I don't think I've recommended this book before, but it is such a good book. Not only this specific book, but the author in general. Stefan Zweig, amazing author. I also read Chess and Beware of Pity. I feel like not enough people talk about Stefan Zweig, so I decided to add The Post Office Girl to this recommendation. It's a quietly shattering novel that captures the ache of disillusionment with an exquisite precision. So this novel is set in post-war Austria, so you can kind of imagine how the environment looks like. And we follow the story of a young woman that grew up in poverty and is poor, that gets a glimpse into luxury, which then changes her life forever. So she gets invited by her aunt to come to this. I think it was like a country club, where that kind of people go. So obviously going from being super poor to then seeing how these people live, it changes her perception of life. I find that Stefan Zweig's writing is very elegant, and the way that he paints despair, the despair that this woman is feeling, not in like grand strokes, but rather in just very subtle and quiet, suffocating shades. So you could tell that slowly, this is building up in her. To me, what makes this book unforgettable, it's the way that he paints the atmosphere. It's the weight of poverty. It's the fragility of hope, unraveling of a soul that's caught in between two worlds. So I think it was very melancholic, sad, but also very human. So if you've ever felt like the sting of dreams deferred, or that you were in a place that you didn't belong to, or the loneliness of feeling out of place, then this book is for you. Next book recommendation is Betty Blue, which I already mentioned in my Paris vlog kind of book recommendation, and how this book reminded me of Paris so much. But I wanted to include it here because not a lot of people talk about it, and I wanted to give you a proper review, not just how the book reminds me of Paris. So this is Betty Blue by Philippe Dijon. There's a movie called Betty Blue as well, which is based off of this book. I would recommend you watch that as well because it's such a French book, if you know what not French book, it's such a French film, if you know what I mean. And I just loved it. It was so artistic. The acting was incredible. I would highly recommend it. So Betty Blue is a feverish, sensual, and deeply tragic love story that burns with intensity from the first page. Dijon's writing is very raw and poetic throughout the whole novel, and he clearly captures the chaotic relationship between passion and destruction. This novel is a lot about longing, it's about madness, it's about wanting out of life more than what it can give. The main character, Betty, she meets this guy and it's basically a love story, but it's not a simple love story. I think she's got mental health issues. I read somewhere where it said that Betty Blue would have BPD, but it doesn't specifically say it in the book, but you can kind of see why. She's very wild, she's very magnetic, she's very unforgettable. She's an unforgettable woman. And her melancholy doesn't come quiet in this book compared to the other books. It comes in waves, crushing you. She's an emotional wreckage, but at the same time, it's just very strangely beautiful. You're drawn to sad love stories that explore love at its more volatile and tender, then Betty Blue will haunt you in the best way possible. Yeah, it's, like it says here, a terrifyingly believable love story. And that's what I think I really enjoyed about this book, that it was like a believable love story. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't a perfect, you know, story of love, of French love. It was just very real. Finally, we've got Bonjour, Tristesse, which was also my Paris recommendation, and this is by François Sagan. I love this cover so much. It's so beautiful. This book is honestly a melancholy gem. She wrote this when she was only 18 years old, and she clearly captures the emotional turbulence that is being an adolescent. I found that the prose was very cool and crystalline. However, at the same time, it pulses with longing, boredom, and a quiet rebellion growing in the main character. What makes this book so compelling, it's the mood that it kind of pulls you in. The main character, Cecile, lives a very luxurious life. And yeah, she falls in love with someone at the French Riviera, but also there's this, like I said, kind of sadness and melancholy to it. It's a very summer book, summer sadness book. This collection also includes A Certain Smile, which is about Dominique. So in the first story, Bonjour, Tristesse, it's about Cécile and how she basically goes to the French Riviera with her dad, who has remarried, and she kind of has a relationship there. And then the second story of the collection is A Certain Smile, which follows Dominique, a young woman bored with her lover, who begins an encounter with an older man that unfolds in unexpected and troubling ways. So both books are just incredibly amazing. What makes this book so compelling, both stories, is that there's this languid sadness that's wrapped in sun-drenched luxury. Protagonists look at love, guilt, and also moral ambiguity with a kind of like a detached yet deeply felt introspection. Sagan's writing is deceptively simple, but it evokes a rich emotional landscape that feels both timeless and intimate. So yeah, I would highly recommend this book as well. By the way, all of these books were 5 stars. I enjoyed them so much. We've got to the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you've read any of these books, please let me know. I would love to know your thoughts and kind of what you rate them. And if you have any recommendation of this kind of genre that I haven't mentioned so far, as always, please subscribe and leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Again, thank you so much, and I'll see you next week with my monthly vlog. Bye.